Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we are going to be talking about what I feel like are going to be the top 8 decks of this new format that we have just entered earlier this week. Now, I want to do this discussion because I'm actually going to be heading to the YCS 200 in Columbus, Ohio this weekend. So by the time that you see this video, I am probably already on my way to Columbus, so I'm pre-recording this for that reason. So if you guys are going to be at the 200th, I hope to see you guys there. So today I want to talk about what I feel like will be the top 8 decks of this current format, and possibly maybe even the YCS. And there's a certain order to this, but you know, you could still play around with change them around a little bit, but this is what I feel like are going to be the more prominent decks that you'll see at major events. Now, the number 8 for this list can go to pretty much anyone. I've seen so many rogue decks do good in this new format already, and I've seen things like frogs, I've seen mermaids even playing around some stuff, and some of these decks always do creep up when the format first starts out and it's new and it's fresh. You see people going back to older ideas to get a gear and a feel for what this new format is going to be like. So those decks will have possible success, some here in smaller events here and there, but what I feel like is the number 8 deck, and the one I decided to finally settle on, was Heroes at the number 8. Because there are so many variations of Heroes and so many different ways you can play Heroes, and Stratos being back finally, as well as a 1-of, even though a Hero Lives got put to 1-of recently on the ban list, still makes the deck much more viable than it was before. Which version of Heroes would it be? Most likely some version of Masked Heroes, but Heroes can go in many different forms, and be at many different types of hero decks have always popped up and crept up throughout the course of Yu-Gi-Oh's history. You may see a hero engine using Malicious and doing crazy combos, like we used to see in Dad Return and Teledad, but alas, we do not know yet what's going to happen. But I feel Heroes is a good rogue strategy that does have potential at being a top tier deck in the upcoming format. So for my number 7, there's a deck that I think as time goes on, we will see more support for this deck, but I think it is just a little bit better than Heroes to some degree, and that is Danger in the new format. This is my number 7 deck I chose because just the potent potential Danger had prior to the ban list, and it's probably going to keep rising on this list as time goes on throughout the year with new support on the horizon. But it got new support off the ban list. You have Card Destruction, and you also have Morphine Jar coming off the list. Now, Morphine Jar can be used in the deck, but I don't know how much it's really going to be used. Card Destruction, on the other hand, is a card that definitely will be used in Danger, 120%. I've even playtested it and I really enjoy it. It's such a good card. But Danger Dark World is a pretty powerful deck and can go off and make crazy boards and do cool little things here and there and bring big beat sticks out on the field. And Card Destruction works beautifully well with Dark Worlds and works beautifully well with Dangers. So yeah, it goes like cheese and crackers together. So who knows what's going to happen, but I think it's a very powerful deck that may surprise people here and there. So guys, for my number 6, I have Mekk-Knight Invoke. Now, even though Mekk-Knights have been with us since the beginning of this year, and Invoke Mekk-Knights has been a thing since the beginning of this year, a lot of the stuff became reprinted recently and is more accessible to the Yu-Gi-Oh community. But on top of that, we recently did get in Shadows of Valhalla the Alistair Link monster for Invoke, which really gave the deck a little bit more potency overall, and we really haven't seen what this deck can do in the new format with its power. So I feel optimistic that it's a good rogue powerful deck that may top actually at a major event. I'd take 1 or 2 spots here or there. I don't know, but it's a deck that can really sneak up on people because a lot of people, while they have gotten used to playing around Infinite Impermanence, they still are not, some degree I find, used to playing around the lineup of Mekk-Knights. And in some games, in some instances, if your opponent's not going in with the mindset of every deck could be Mekk-Knights, they could easily sweep you game 1 and possibly win game 2 or 3. So depending upon the matchup, it could be very useful to play Mekk-Knight Invoke. So let's go to our next card deck. So guys, for our number 5 deck, we actually have True Draco. Now True Draco yes, we don't have Masterpiece anymore, but as time has gone on, this deck has become more of a floodgate deck. It's a deck that involves just using Rivalry of Warlords, Card Demise, and a half a dozen other things. Even Monarch's Erupt, I believe it's called, which is pretty much a mini skill drain for the deck. It's just become such a very Stunny-esque deck that can be very powerful and very good. And it's still a very potent deck in today's game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, granted, Terraforming did get it down to 1 of, so you can't search out Diagram as quickly or as consistently as before, but still, the deck is good. And still, I think it has a lot of potential to be a powerful deck in the meta. So, let's go to our number 4 deck. So for our number 4 deck, I decided to choose Trickstar. Now, I hate Trickstar. I really hate Trickstar, but at the same time, I love the deck to death. It's literally K-pop in a deck. If K-pop was a Yu-Gi-Oh deck, this is Yu-Gi-Oh. It's Trickstars. And I love the deck. They look so cute, but I hate them because they So, yes, I have a love-hate relationship with Trickstars and all that stuff. But that's beside the point. Trickstars, I feel like, is a very potent deck, guys. Now, it's yet to be seen if Trickstar Sky Strikers will still be a deck. It was a very powerful deck, mind you, before the ban list, but with Hornet Drones getting hit to 1 of, we have yet to see really if it is as potent. And hopefully the 200th YCSs, with all the different events going on that day and that week, we may finally get to see if Trickstars is still a powerful deck, or is Trickstar Invoke still a powerful, Trickstar Sky Strikers just as powerful as it used to be. Granted, they did not ban Light Stage or hit any of the Trickstar cards, but they did limit Terraforming and they did limit Hornet Drones for that innovation of Sky Striker Trickstars. So we'll have to wait to see what happens in both Barkhawks. But let's go to another deck now. So guys, for my number 3 deck, I decided to choose Geist. This is kind of my dark horse pick of this list here. And some people put it lower on their list and some people put it higher. But I've seen what this deck does in the OCG. Granted, we do have Red Reboot. Granted, we do have evenly matches. And you have different ways of dealing with this deck. You just run Twin Twisters, blow away their back row. You run a lot of different things. Red Reboot can be very useful in the deck. But it's kind of like True Draco, where it can be very stunning. Protocol is a very good card. It works well with the deck. The deck has Mellow Seek and all this stuff that it can do. It has this mini tour guide and the one card that everybody knows what it pretty much works like, that we recently got out. I think it was in Flames of Destruction. So the deck's good. It's a good deck. The question is it as good as it is and was and is in the OCG? And number 2, will it become a more popular deck as time goes on? Will the hits to Sky Strikers, will the hits to all these other decks be enough for the deck to rise up? That is yet to be seen. I don't know if it will be or not, but we're going to have to wait and see. Well, let's get to our number 2 deck that I feel like is going to be the most popular deck in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! in this coming format. So, my number 2, guys, is GoKey. Now, you can debate GoKey being number 1 or number 2. It's the flip of the coin. But I feel like with the banning of Upstart Goblin, the banning of Goblin, Nightmare Goblin, this somewhat curbs GoKey from making the U-Link board, but not completely. They still can make the U-Link board. They're still a powerful deck. They still can do stupid boards and broken boards and be very broken. But I find that with Goblin banned, the boards are more, quote-unquote, to some degree, breakable. And if you can break the GoKey board, you have a chance of winning. I don't want to say it's a glass cannon, because I don't feel it's a glass cannon type of deck, but it is a little bit more breakable, and that is even debatable. But it's still one of the most powerful decks of this current format. Going forward, we'll have to see how it develops, and does anything change out of the ordinary for how GoKey functions? Probably not. They'll probably still do what they always do, but I'm interested to see if the deck develops any new characteristics, so to speak. So let's go to my number 1 pick. Sky Strikers. What else was it gonna be? It could be Sky Strikers, it could be GoKey. It's up to you. I don't know. Personally, I am a little biased towards towards Sky Strikers because I love that deck to pieces, just like I love Trickstars. Waifus. Priorities, man, priorities. Waifu priorities. But yes, I have a little bias, but that's not to say that I think that the deck is as good as GoKey or is better than GoKey. I think it's very debatable points for each case. But I feel like it is pure Sky Striker could possibly be the best deck of the format. We've seen this in the OCG with it taking multiple tops and multiple things before the recent OCG ban list limited engage to 2 of and did other things. But even then still, from what I've seen in the OCG, the deck is still good. The deck is still potent. So the deck is very resilient in what it does. Will it still succeed? Will it be the top deck of the format? I think it will be. GoKey has this tendency, and I don't know what it is about it, but GoKey always seems to be the deck that people say is the best deck of the format, which, like I said, it could be, and you could definitely interchange 1 and 2 here. But at the same time, I don't see GoKey enough. I see more Sky Striker builds than I see GoKeys. Maybe that's just the area I live in, or maybe that's just what I see when I see videos and top videos of the top decks of local regionals. But granted, we are in a new list of things going on. Hornet did get hit to 1 of, which means that Sky Striker as an engine is not as good as it used to be, and GoKeys did get Goblin banned, so it's debatable. They both took hits, kind of, but which one would be the best? It's debatable. I go with Sky Strikers because I feel they're a little bit more versatile in the way they can build their decks and everything, and the pure Sky Striker build can do a lot of different things if you haven't played around with it yet. But that's why I chose Sky Strikers. I just feel like it's going to continue to be the best deck going forward. But like I said, it's debatable. But tell me what your thoughts down below. Do you think GoKey's the best deck, or do you think Sky Strikers are the best deck? Like I said, it's debatable. They're both very powerful decks, nonetheless. But till next time, guys, take care. Have fun dueling. Good luck dueling. Hope you enjoyed this analogy of me going to the top competitive decks going into September and October of 2018. And I'll see you guys next time. Do expect more competitive talk videos on this channel as we go forward, as I really do love competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, but sometimes it does get boring. But with a new ban list and new things changing, I like talking about it. So I'll see you all next time. And if you're at the 200th, I'll see you there. I'm going to redo that mic because there's noise in the background, so give me a second. Sorry about the editing. Okay, so for my number 6, I have Mekk-Knight Invokes. Now, even though Mekk-Knight Invoke has been with the... Okay, so guys, for my number...